Right, good afternoon and welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Now this is going to be a whole new project, sort of. What it will be is the heat shields on the exhaust. Now when we did the exhaust, we painted it black and added the fantastic megaphone silencers on the end, made the little link pipes in the middle so that it all works together and is sealed. And then I put back the factory heat shields and they're all shiny in chrome and just a little bit embarrassing. I think looking at the comments box, it was pretty unanimous that most people thought that they were just too bling, too shiny and too factory. They hid the exhaust to some extent and it's a bit of a letdown. It was a good start but a disappointing finish. So now is a project, may not be 10, probably won't be 10, but it will certainly be a few pieces. We're going to do part 1 tonight just to get them off, get them scuffed up, get them prepped. They're going to get some holes in, they're going to get some mesh put on the inside and they're going to get put back on looking a little bit more in keeping with the rest of the bike. Okay, so there we are. I'm going to waffle on too much, I'm going to show you what we're up to. Let's get the bike ready, get the heat shields off, let's get the sandpaper out. See what happens. And before we go anywhere with it, tools, some fantastic little tools. I love these. I haven't had any of these for years and years. So I bought myself some new conical drills and they come in a rather splendid box, which is rather good. They weren't that much money either. There was a VAT-free day, so they were only 29 quid instead of 36, which is pretty good. Quite happy with that, saved a little bit. We've got some mesh there. That's going to go the other side of the holes so that you've got a little bit of look and you're not seeing the pipe through, and that will also highlight the holes, make them look a bit better. And that's bar end weights for the handlebars. That's the next little project. And as you might see, I've had a little clear up. Got a new piece of MDF, put the bench vise the other end, and this is going to be just a little bit cleaner to work on. It was getting a bit manky. The other one had about a dozen projects on it, so I knew one of them, and I've got all my stickers out and started banging them up, but they are coming off a little bit up under there, so I'm going to get some spray glue, take them all off because they're all kind of overlapping, so they come off as one piece, and now some spray glue on, put them on properly, but that's another day. Okay, so for now, here we go. Let's put you down here. There we go. As you can see, they're a bit factory, aren't they, really? They're not in keeping with the rest of the bike. They're too shiny, they stand out way too much, and they just need to be dealt with and dumbed right down in so that they match with the rest of the exhaust and the engine. They're just hiding everything at the minute. So first job is to take them off, and again that's got to be really careful because obviously these are painted and it's okay when they're just stainless steel, you can clank against them, doesn't hurt. And as with all heat shields, they're not sharp edges on the inside edge, but they are nonetheless sheet metal edges, dull sheet metal edges, and it's quite easy to scrape your paintwork. So being nice and careful, let's take them off. I had some comments about the resolution of the last video. I did the last one in 1080 full high definition just to kind of show that we can, you know, if we really need to. But as much as it was lovely and it was good to watch and you could put it on a big flat screen telly and watch it, from our point of view at this end of the spectrum, it absolutely eats bandwidth. It kills all the storage space on the computer because I do like to keep the videos, especially the how-to ones, and even when you put them on a storage device it takes up loads of room because there's no need for it to be a 3.5 gig video when it can be 500 meg, you know, it doesn't have to be, first bit. So what we might do is I'm going to try and, for the next thing, I'm experimenting as I go with this camera, and the next one I'm going to try and find the 720, but this camera doesn't seem to have that. Maybe you camera buffs can tell me. It has, it comes with a recommendation that you fit it onto XP, and I think that's the 720 setting. There's UXP, which is the 1080 high definition, and then there's settings below that, which I think is just sort of 420 and whatever. But for the most part, I want to try and upload them in 720 if I can, which is a little bit better. Still nice and high definition because 420 is a little bit miserable, a bit dull, and it pixelates if you're watching it on a bigger screen. We do want the videos to be interesting, that's why we go to the trouble of making them. So we're going to just make an effort, if possible, to try and do the next thing in 720. So this one, if you're watching it and it's in 720, then it works. I'm just bunging the bolts back in their holes because it's easier to find where they went, where they should go when you come to reassemble it. Especially with a job that lasts a few weeks or a couple of days even. Come to reassemble things, you can't put your hands on the fasteners, it's just annoying. So bung them back in the holes. Little trick for you. Okay. Really careful with these because this end they're almost touching. Don't want to touch, scrape anything. There we are. Look at that, scot-free. Okay, I'll fasten it back in. Right, got them all on the bench. Going to do that as well. That's aluminium, and it looks a bit rubbish. The finish they put on it, I think it's painted. Let's have a look. Scratch it on the back. I'm not sure if it's painted or anodised. It's anodised, and I'm just going to scuff that up and paint it because it looks rubbish. It looks like it's made of plastic, so that's getting painted black as well. And as it scratches quite easily, there's no harm in painting it. This is interesting. The first thing you've got to do, obviously, with all these, is relieve them of all their furniture. You get these little grommets in the end, which got a sleeve, and then you just push the rubber bung one way or the other through the hole. You know them, you've seen them. There's one for each one, so just keep them safe. On there. There's no point in trying to paint around anything, you might as well do it properly. And as this is, you know, much as this is perhaps a bit boring at this stage, just getting everything ready for the journey of 1,000 miles, single step and all that, here's step one. Just prep everything up. Right. Now the other thing is, interestingly enough, I looked on the inside, this piggyback heat shield, on the inside, I thought that would be a nice, where are you? There you go, a nice Allen bolt, but it's not. Sadly, it's a fucking pot rivet. There you go, Triumph, well done. Pot riveted the outside piece on. That is just shit. So there we go, I can only do the same. There's no thread in that, so I'm bound to have to do the same when I come to reassemble it. But for now, I've got to drill them off. So let's get those drilled off so I can take those two apart, because I can't paint in between them. Honestly, riveted on. What a fucking lame way to do it. So drill them out a bit bigger first. Kind of like a pilot hole. Don't know whether it's lame or not, I just think it's a little bit of a cop out. They could have put a nice little thread on that. There's one. This other one. Right. Keep all the swarf safe. In the bin. Yep, good old pot rivets. I suppose that's factory for you. This is just more of the same as it was with the exhaust itself. I've just got to get a 180 grit involved just to start with. I start at 180 on this because you're scuffing the metal. Just incidentally, you can take a look at this. Now, I don't know if the camera can pick it up. We're in 1080 at the moment. It's in high res. I don't know if it'll pick it up. But if you look at the finish of that chrome, this, I don't even know if this is chrome because there's a kind of a very, very slight magnetism to it. Not a lot. I don't know if they're stainless or what. If they was good stainless, like the pipes, they would not be magnetic at all. If it was mild steel, it'd go whack. But I don't know. There's a kind of bit of magnetism there, but not even enough to move it. But when you look at the finish of that chrome, you can see all the scuff marks in it. I can certainly see them in this light. I don't know if you can see them there. Let's have a look. You can see there the little buffer marks and polish marks. You know, I can't moan too much. At the end of the day, it's a mass-produced bike. It's not a hand-built machine. But I think the finish on this is not up to the standard that I would want. If I went and paid for that to be chromed and that was the outcome, I would not be happy. Not at all. But it's all part of the thing with a mass-produced brand new bike. That's what you get. Right, bung them over one side. And all this is 180 grit, and then just get into it. It will put lines in it to start with, and because it's metal, you've got no choice. It'd be nice to rub it down with a nice 800, but I need to get that, whatever this coating that's on there, it could be nickel cadmium, it could be chrome, it could just be polished stainless, I don't know. Whatever it is, I don't think that's stainless. It's buffing out or scuffing out real easy, and there's even a residue coming off on the paper, so it's probably a plating of some kind. Maybe one of you knowers can tell me. There we are. Now is another one like the pipes. It's a laborious couple of hours now. I'm just scuffing this back. To try and attain a standard of key that the paint will stick to. It's really, really important to take the time at this stage, no matter how long it takes. I learnt this from Milo. I watch Milo Garage a lot, and Milo says the same thing. It's the time taken in preparation that means that when you just blow the paint over, it sticks, it lays, and it stays. And that's, for me, the satisfaction. And there's nothing more soul destroying than laying the paint on and it runs off, or it peels up, or it reacts, or it fish eyes, because you just haven't taken the time to prep it right. 99% of any paint work is preparation. So tonight, sadly, I've just got a couple of hours of this to do, which is a bit of a boring thing. So let's fast forward this for now. I'll show you when we're halfway. Right, so that's it. Now this is just the initial scuff down. When I drill the holes in it, the holes will have to be deburred, which will mean sanding more. So that's just taking the shine off, reducing the bling, and getting them ready. Okay, that's that bit. Right. First long one. Okay. Now that one just doesn't like the sandpaper at all. So let's try the 80 grit. I don't really want to get tools on this. I don't want to use power tools. If you get a grinder on it, then you start putting scores in it and they'll show through the paint. So a bit of 80 grit makes a difference. That's better. Let's go with the 80 grit first. Now they're not magnetic at all, so they're stainless, which is probably why they're quite hard to scuff up. Still, you can achieve it. Right, moved on, about half an hour later now. Now even this 80 grit paper, where is it? Even using full on number 180 grit, it just doesn't even go near this stuff. This is highly polished stainless, as I showed you. Same stuff the pipes are made from, and it's just skiddy. It really takes ages and ages and ages with something as stiff as that to just get even that tiny little bit of mild scratching. I think these are actually a high grade stainless, and the reason they're like that is that they don't scratch. I think that's what it is. I think this is scratch resistant stainless because you're going to scuff them with your leg all the time. So the only way I've been able to get it, I mean, 3 sheets of that later, you're just going nowhere with it. So what I've done to get it to that, which is, well, that's not quite right yet, it's got to go a bit further, is on the drill. So let's move you over there. I'll show you the Technique. This is what, now obviously I've said already that I don't want to put a power tool on this because it will scuff it too much, but what I'm using, I can't remember what it is, I'm just using a 240 paper. Check that out. It's just a mild 240 grit paper. There's no grain to it, no grittiness to that. So all I'm going to do is get through this initial coating. There's no other way to do it. Can't be done by hand unless you're leaning on it. I mean, that was 80 grit, leaning on it, and it just didn't come close. So let's see what this does. I'll show you how it works. Now the principle is it's softer, there it is, it's not as aggressive as the 80 grit, obviously that would put big lines in it, it's only 240, but it's got enough speed and enough aggression to just take that surface off. So I've got to do this one, and then afterwards I can hit them by hand, because once this shiny, slippery, highly polished surface is gone and get through it, then the paper does tend to smooth it out. So there we go, just going to get into this. Right, there we are. Right, and now the 80 grit seems, for some reason, to bite in, and it bites right in. It takes out all the marks and dulls them down to a much better satin sheen. Because this is about making scratches. This is about keying up, scratching the thing up so the paint sticks. And there just seemed no way of breaking that shine. So sadly, much against my better wishes, or against my better judgment, I had to resort to a power tool just to get that initial shine off, but it's okay now. It seems that once you break through that surface, it sands up nice. But when it's mirror polished, it's so slippery, you can't break into it. Alright, there we go. Sum total of about 2 hours in the end. Now they are a little bit scored, a little tiny bit scored, which I didn't really want. That was the one I did by hand because it is a chromy plated finish somehow. So that came up okay. Very, very fine lines in it, but still enough to grip the paint. These have got slightly deeper lines, but they are so hard that there's no way around it. So what I will do is use the paint effectively as a filler. The, where are we? This high temperature paint we used for the exhaust itself. That goes rock hard when it cures. Now start the engine, that runs hot gas through the pipes and that cures the paint. You saw all the smoke coming off in the video, but you can't do that with these obviously because I want to cure the paint, so I'm just going to blow lamp them. I'll blow lamp cure them, so I'll paint those 3 at least. I was worried about that, but paint those 4 pieces and then blow lamp cure them, and then I can sand them back using that first 2 or 3 coats as a filler to fill in all these little scores. Get them absolutely flat with a Scotch-Brite, go back to some sort of 420, maybe even sort of 800 grit, get them absolutely smooth, and then do the 6 top coats on top of that, and then finally blow lamp cure them on the inside, which is the best way to do it, but we'll come to that when we get to it. So there we go, that's it for tonight. We'll call it a day. So thanks for watching. That's part one. Don't know how many parts this will be. I'm guessing maybe half a dozen at least. I just want to get a really high quality finish, just like I got before, a high-end finish, so that when it's all bolted together and I take them up to the dealer, I kind of want to impress them a bit that this is a really cool job, and that gets their respect. I like that, especially when you start pulling your brand new bike to bits. You take it back to the dealer, you want it to look good. So there it is. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I much appreciate it. Let's see how this one goes. I've got to get in now. It's 7 o'clock. I want to get this uploaded, and I want to check out getting the upload at high resolution, but not costing me so much in broadband space and so much in storage space on the computer. That's something else, part of the project that I'm working on. So there we are. That's it for now. Take it easy, ride safe. See you next time.